but I had a couple of things that went viral, and one of them I talk about the Vietnam War. And to this day, I put that shit up like 3 years ago. And to this day, I'm getting, people have argued about it, left TikTok, had kids. Those kids have grown up, and now those kids are arguing about that joke. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
And welcome everybody to another episode of the Asian Not Asian podcast, the podcast with all your favorite Asian friends, or in this case, friend, singular, because it's just me hanging out in the studio. It's me as the only host. I do have a guest who I'm going to bring on in just a second, but it's just me in the booth. Left my family. I mean, not forever. I left my family for tonight. My wife was pretty pissed. She'll get over it. But it's okay. It's late. We're doing this late. We usually record this on the weekends, but because I'm a double dad now, I have to record this on a weeknight. So at 10 o'clock, we're in the booth. This place is open all night. This godforsaken place, as everybody knows, Pirate Studios. One day they're going to hear this, and my guest doesn't know this, but I hate this place. And it's going to be, they're going to hear this, and they're going to ban me. But I don't care, because that'll be a blessing, because this place is awful. Actually, this place isn't so bad. We're at a new location. This place is in, I want to say this is Ridgewood, but this might be, we're in Queens. I'm pretty sure we're in Queens. And it's a little better. I don't know what it is. The building's a little better. The bands here suck a little more, which makes it better. It just has a better vibe. I think I'm also sleep deprived. Anyways, welcome to the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to bring our guests on, but just real quick at the very beginning here, two things. One, come check out our stand-up comedy show. It's every month. It's still going. We're still doing it. It's a lot of fun every single time. The next one is October 11th. It's the second Friday of every month. The next one's October 11th, 7:30 p.m. at Union Hall in Brooklyn. Our guest will have done the one that's in September. So, you can ask him later how awesome it is. It's always awesome. And then the other thing is, hey, you want to support the podcast? Go check out Patreon, patreon.com/Asian Not Asian Pod. It's the best way to support the podcast. We use the money. I try to use it as wisely as I can. I don't know if you've ever come across a $20 bill on the ground and you think, I could just use this on something stupid like fried chicken sandwiches, or I could maybe invest it or do something like that. I try to use the Patreon money wisely. Well, I set up a scholarship. This is real. I gave it out. And that was cool, and was like the best money I ever spent. And that's what we use the Patreon for, along with things like tech equipment and tripods. I have so many fucking tripods in my house. That's what we use the Patreon money for. So it's patreon.com/Asian Not Asian Pod. When you subscribe, we give you a little shout out on the podcast. We may do other things. I want to do other things with it because I'm stuck at home and I want to use it again for good. And I think you guys are so nice. I want to, you're giving me something. I want to give you back something. It's just like a creative circle jerk of, it's just goodness. And that's what I want to give when you give. That makes no sense. All right. Again, that's patreon.com/Asian Not Asian Pod. We've talked enough. It's about time to bring on my guest. I just Googled him, and I'm going to bring up the first thing I saw when I Googled him. He has a very common name. So check this out. Our guest graduated from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of Yeshiva University. He works in Stanford, California, and specializes in anesthesiology, internal medicine, and critical care. Give it up for Dr. Jason Leong.
Right off the bat, that's misinformation.
Wait, this isn't you?
Yeah, no.
No.
You've been severely misinformed. And I am now quite, what's the word? I feel so inadequate compared to whoever the fuck that is. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I feel that every Asian person, no matter what your name is, when you Google your name as an Asian person, you're served like 10 other people who are way more successful than you.
I'll go one up. So many years ago, I set up a Google alert.
Oh no.
So that whenever I'm mentioned in the news, whatever, and you'll send me an alert. So every now and then I'll get an alert where it's someone named Jason Leong, not me. Mm-hmm. And all these Jason Leongs, they are doing so much better.
They're doing so good.
Yeah. Like, Jason Leong just closed a financial deal of 10 million. or Jason Leong has led this charity organization to help the poor. I'm like, wow. And then I'm waiting for mine. I'm like, and once in a while, I'll get mine, which is Jason Leong is doing a new show. And I feel so inadequate compared to the other Jason Leong.
the other Jason Leong, do you put this? I thought it would even help me sometimes putting in like Michael Nguyen and then comedian. I think there are other Mike Nguyen comedians out there. I think there's one in Germany who's like crushing it.
Are you serious?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's. Let's just say this. Let's just say I thought if you put in Mike Nguyen, like creative or something like that,
right.
There's like so many creative director Mike Nguyen's with cool hair, great leather jackets, like all that stuff. Like if you Google like exactly the podcast and then me, then yes, I'm there. But like if you do Michael Nguyen or even my funny name spelling, M-I-C Nguyen, there's so many M-I-C Nguyens who are like exactly what you said, like
right.
Yeah, investors or gymnasts or whatever the fuck it is.
But can I make an argument that can I say that maybe the name Nguyen is way more common than say my name Leong? Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right? I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that is fair.
Yeah. But I remember, and this happened to me way before I started Googling my own name. For example, earlier in my career, I wanted to have my own website. Yeah. Right? So I checked out jasonleong.com.
Okay.
And jasonleong.com is owned by a fucking musician who I believe is a violinist. And
of course he is.
And he has one song on SoundCloud. Okay, and I'm so pissed because, bro, just give it to me, man.
Right.
I'm a working comic. Who the fuck do you think?
I feel that there should be some like international law where to get the domain, you have to prove that you're more famous than the other person. Like the most famous person. Like if I'm sure Michael Jackson has michaeljackson.com, but if it's michaeljackson.com, like a fucking attorney or some shit like that guy loses to Michael Jackson.
So there'll be no Michael Jacksons who can have a michaeljackson.com
You
website.
have to prove it. You have to be like, I'm the most famous whoever named Jason Leong.
Right.
Do you go by Dr. Jason Leong?
That's just a stage thing when I'm on stage.
Right, you do that.
But I don't insist my friends or people call me doctor. But you have to call me doctor.
I call you doctor. I will call you doctor in front of people and be like, oh my God, there's a doctor in the house. He can save your life. So do you still have that Google thing up running? The alert?
Yeah, because it helps because once in a while I do get once in a while I'll get excited. Yeah. Thinking, I made the news, something maybe my video has gone viral. Yeah. And it's always this billionaire has cured cancer, and I feel like shit, you know?
Right, yeah.
I was going to say it. I forgot what to say. Yeah, so like, I think, so I had to go with jasonleong.my.
Oh, .my.
From Malaysia, .my, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that there are no other aspiring artists named Jason Leong, because then they'll want...
They want that MY.
They want .com first.
Yeah. They'll take it from the fucking violinist.
Yeah. And then if it's a Malaysian artist, they come Jason Leong. I'm sorry, man.
Sorry, dude.
I have to keep this, man.
Do you what's it? Is the MY, so like everybody wants .com.
Yes.
The worst one I think is .net. Right? If you get a .net, you're like, oh, you fucked up. You couldn't get the .com, so you have to have the .net.
Yes.
So
.gov.
Oh, .gov. .org.
Yeah, .org.
Fuck off. Okay. Yeah. Like, so do you think it's cool to have the .my? Because there's also a .nyc, which is like there's a .nyc.
I didn't know that. Right.
If you're a New York based something. Yeah. But I don't know. It's not a stupid domain URL name, but it's not like you want the .com.
Yeah, I think for like as we aspire to like be more international or grow the career, .my is it feels limiting, you know.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, it's just a website. So nowadays we live in a post-website era where
that's true.
You don't need the website. It's socials. We'll say
right. Your Instagrams and your TikToks and shit like that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Okay. Well. Okay. Your actual intro is comedian, author, and writer who has two. You have two Netflix specials.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Jason Leong.
Oh, thank you. Yay! Applause break. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I'm a big fan of your work, man.
You?
Yeah, I watched your clips. Remember when we first met? I think. I think
you have. Okay, go ahead.
In 2022, I think we met at one of Ronnie's.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we met at a party. Then when I started googling you, and then I saw you on Instagram and all your videos about like the rice thing and the flags. I remember the flags.
Oh, the when I was roasting the flags.
The flags. Yeah. So funny.
Oh, thank you so much. I think you're so funny, bro. That's crazy. I mean, you have a fucking Netflix specials, dude. I haven't seen your second one. I also your first one so far.
Yeah, I think yeah. Thanks, man. So. I mean,
that's crazy.
It's nice for me to come here and meet up with comics because my goal now in my career is to expand into North America.
Yeah,
be more do more shows in North America.
Right.
So I think New York's a good starting point, and this is my third time coming here and doing spots. So I've been lucky with the spots and everything, but I'm trying to suss out the comedy scene here and how do I start touring, do shows in LA, San Fran,
right.
And even whichever cities would be favorable to my kind of comedy, because I think North America for me is the next frontier.
That's the ultimate frontier, I feel
for stand-up.
Yeah, for stand-up.
But you'd be surprised, there are a sizable number of comedians who, and this is not wrong at all, who are very happy being top dog in Australia, top dog in the UK, even top dog in Malaysia or top dog in India, because that's a comfortable life.
Oh yeah,
it's super comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? But I want to see where I can go, because I watch a lot of American stand up, so I follow the American stand up comedians, and then I see them. Oh, they're touring here. They're doing this big show, and that's I'm pulled in by the allure of making it.
You want to get out to the Des Moines, Iowa chuckle bucket and be like, having the the Smiths come out to your show and be like, oh, this Chinese guy is super funny.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, this is the point I'm trying to make. I think we are at an interesting point where, we, for lack of a better word, we don't need to pander to the white people so much.
Yes.
If you can capture the Asians.
Yes.
In America, I think we are set for life.
Actually, you know what it is? I will even go even further, and I actually think we're at the point now, or about to, where if we can capture the Asians, the white people will be like, "What's going on over here?"
Thank you. Exactly.
They'll be like, "Hey,
yes,
I've been checking out some more Asian shit. I've watched fucking some K-pop shit and some K-dramas and shit, and I know about these Asian comics, and I have a couple of Filipino friends at work.
Yes.
They're gonna go see Dr. Jason Leong. I want to know about this guy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So in Australia, for example, I've gotten so I started by marketing in the early days of the Melbourne Comedy Festival. I started marketing to Malaysians, right? So Malaysians came, and then the next year, Malaysians and Singaporeans came. And then the years after that, Malaysians and my Australian boyfriend or my Australian wife.
There you go.
Or my Australian friends. So slowly, and then I think last year I did get what I would call the the organic original Australian white person.
Yo, a free range white person?
Yes.
A free range white person.
Who is untethered to any Asians.
Yes.
They genuinely like my stuff, and so okay, so slowly.
That's kind of it's kind of shocking when that happens, when a white person,
that's true, for me,
who's free range,
or free range,
organic. I used to do spots, it's called the Comedy Shop now, but it's used to be called something else. And I was sitting there, and this guy, this white dude who I thought was just some, guy off work from his office job, was like, "Hey man, I'm a huge fan of your work. I really like you, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, sometimes if a white person says that to me, I'm like, I'm not Ronnie Chang. I'm not. You're thinking about somebody else.
Yes.
But then he was like talking about my podcast and I was like, this guy's a fucking fan. And he looked like a white middle manager who I would report to. You know what I'm saying?
I see. So you couldn't imagine him as your fan, right?
Yeah. No, I really couldn't. And like it's happened to me, a fair amount now. And I'm like, what is going on? You don't even got like an Asian wife or anything like that. It's just like
you're being the racist.
Yes. No. Yeah. I'm like, no, hold on here. We're not past the racist part. Who did you fuck to get to here?
To get to you.
To me. Who you fucking?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And it is like, but it's cool because then you're like, oh well, I'm making a connection in some way.
So do you think we'll ever get to a point where we don't have that reaction? Right? Because I still have the reaction now.
I know what you mean.
But I'm sure if we are to improve and grow in our careers, that feeling has to go.
I think.
Right?
Yeah. I think eventually, once you see
enough
people. I mean, I think. For me, I'll always be, my home group is like Asian American people, but that will just be the core. But then like all the other people who are interested in that shit, that's just good. I hope we'll get bigger as as I do other things, and people will just be more interested in it. And I think I'll be most surprised when I can drop some real deep Asian knowledge shit on people, like about. I don't know. This isn't even that deep, but like we don't use dishwashers, something like that.
Yes.
And like white people would be like, "Yo, I know about that." Sometimes I think the best thing is when you can do something and they maybe don't relate to it, but they have something like that.
Right.
I'm not sure what it is. Like Asian people, we all take our shoes off inside, right? I don't know what the white people equivalent of that is. Maybe it's. I fucking have no idea. So but like they'll be like, "Hey, we don't have that, but we have this other thing," and your joke reminded me of that other thing.
All right, okay, let's brainstorm. What is the what would be the don't take off our shoes equivalent of that? Let me see.
What do white people do when they get home that maybe Asian people don't do?
Okay, I think I've got one like. I think a lot of white people or Western people when they finish like high school, they take a year off.
Oh, a gap year.
A gap year. Woo! It's so normal for them, right? But first, why are you wasting a year?
I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought usually if you have a gap year, it's because you fucked up so bad in high school, you needed a year to pad your resume in order to get back into college.
See, you thought that. I never even entered my orbit. I never even thought, there is such a thing as a gap year. So the closest thing to what I thought what we have in a gap year was like after high school.
Yeah.
There was back in Malaysia, there was this thing called the American Field Society, where they offered like a student exchange program where a Malaysian would go and study maybe high school in like say Spain or the Netherlands or the UK, and then they'll send someone to Malaysia. So even for me, a gap year still involves studying.
Yes. Yes.
That was a gap year.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You're being productive during your gap year.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but then I realized, some people just take a year off and
they just don't do anything.
Find yourself.
Yeah. Find what?
Whatever it is, start working, man. You're wasting a year.
You know what? You find a job. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then as I grow older, I realized, maybe I would have benefited from a gap year.
I feel like you could do gap years if you want after college. For me, I think like because high school, you're like so young, you have no money, you have no experience and shit, and then I feel I took an inadvertent gap year after college because I couldn't find a job. I graduated during the Great Recession, so I was like, I got a 2-year gap year right here. I should have told all my recruiters that. I'm taking a gap year. That's why I haven't been working for 48 months. Anyways, but like. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I'm on a student exchange program to Malaysia.
I think that Asian people are starting to get into the gap year thing too.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing because as we Asians, we progress and we go like, okay, like maybe it's not such a good idea to always put pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? For example, I think parents like our generation of who are parents, we appreciate not always putting our children under pressure. Like my wife has we kind of agreed on this. We have a 4-year-old. She's going to turn 5 in next month, actually.
Awesome.
So we had this. It wasn't even a discussion. It was agreed upon very quickly that we won't put so much pressure on our child to exceed academically or whatever.
Yeah,
because like my wife, she has excelled. We've both excelled academically, and after I quit medicine to do comedy, she has continued to excel.
Oh shit!
She's a black belt level anesthetist.
Oh shit!
She's passed a lot of the tough exams.
So she's a doctor too.
A real doctor.
Oh wow!
A real doctor, a very highly qualified, overqualified doctor.
What do you mean, real doctor?
I mean, I suppose.
Oh, I see. Versus you, right? Okay.
Bullshit. I'm doing a podcast in Queens.
you fucker.
Yeah, and she is like literally saving lives. And
yeah.
She says she said recently like, I don't want to put so much pressure on Arya, our daughter, because I excel academically. I always put pressure on myself.
Yeah.
And now I'm 40 years old and I wake up with migraines because of the stress she's going through at work. So and that's fair enough, you know. Like there's a point in time where like we have worked hard our whole lives. When are we going to enjoy life?
Right,
and
right.
That's the pressure we put on ourselves. So we don't want that pressure on our daughter. But if she wants to excel herself, then that's great. You know?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, we were talking about this before. Once you got a kid, because then you're like, oh, I remember what I went through and the, you know, bullshit I had to go through, and I don't want to pass that on to the kid.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I want them to work hard and shit, I guess, but, you know, I want them to, I don't know, just like have a different thing. Because like I'm also screwed up. I am also doing a podcast in Queens, you know? So like, you know, like we're fucked up, you know, how do we figure that out? So I think that makes a lot of sense.
You know, now I'm going to pivot to like, so as comedians, you know, we always see lots of, especially being Asian comedians, right?
Yeah.
We see lots of Asian comedians who their material is about, okay, so my dad was like this, my mom was like this. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes now that I'm a parent, sometimes I feel like the way our parents were is because they are a product of their generation.
Sure, yeah.
Right? So all parents, now that I'm a parent, all parents will try their best.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So, but in the back then, because times were different,
sure.
that was their best.
Yeah.
So and if we like, we make fun of them for putting pressure on us or disciplining us, always let's say hoarding plastic bags, reheating rice, and
yes.
making sure there's no leftovers, right?
Yeah.
So if they were not like that, if they were like, oh, it's okay, you can study whatever you want, let's throw it, I think we might be in poverty now.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? It's because there was a generation of they had a scarcity mindset.
Yeah. I mean, you know, my parents were refugees, so like that's why they were always telling me like you know, you're either a doctor. They were thinking of jobs that, you know, forget making a lot of money. They were just like, okay, if this country collapsed, who are they letting on the boat?
Yes.
Okay, what is your job? Mechanic, we need you.
Yes.
Doctor, get in the boat.
Exactly, yes.
Stand-up comic, you're dead.
Yeah, you're dead, exactly.
You know, even like attorney is like, I mean, it's prestigious.
Iffy.
It's iffy. Do we need a lawyer on the boat?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes,
I mean, maybe.
Like when I decided to do medicine, and a lot of my parents' generation, aunties and uncles, they were like, yeah, doctor is good because you know, good times or bad times, we still need doctors. Yes. It's so like, see, that's their mindset. Then you know, they still had the scarcity mindset. You know. Yeah. And I think because like think about it, if a lot of parents back then were like, yeah, let's pursue the arts.
Yeah.
You know,
and make less sense.
The market was not there for the arts yet. So
right.
A lot of people would be fucking broke. You know.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah. That's I mean. And it's a testament to them that now we can fuck around. You know?
Excuse me, this is a very important podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is very important. Right, you're right.
This is an excellent podcast.
Well, don't worry, because we'll fuck up so bad that our kids will become doctors again. Because they'll be like, holy shit, we were poor.
Yeah, oh my God.
My dad was making content. I want to talk about like how we met. We met only like a year or two ago.
Yeah. We met physically February 2022.
Yes.
It was, I think, one of the after parties.
Oh, yes. I remember I was lucky enough, I got to open for Ronnie.
Yes.
And I remember this because my son hadn't been born yet because my wife was super duper pregnant and was watching. And then I put her in a cab and she went home. And then there was an after party. And then I saw you and I was like, look at this club manager here.
Yes.
I think you were wearing a blazer.
Yes.
I think I was wearing one too, to be fair. Yes. And you just looked like fancy. You looked like you were like, what's up? You know?
No, because I was visiting New York, right?
Okay, yeah.
I don't live here. So
yeah.
I had in my suitcase, I had like a few shirts, whatever, but I only had one jacket.
Okay.
One jacket. Right?
Yeah.
And one blazer, whatever. And when I was invited to the party, it was like, you can tell that it's a swanky place.
Oh yeah.
So that was my only swanky option. Right? And I'm not as fashion conscious as you.
Sure.
So I didn't know that, at that place you can wear a leather jacket and be
right,
cool. So
you can be cool.
I just thought, let's just
go be safe, wear the thing.
And then in New York, you tend to be a bit self-conscious. You don't want to underdress or whatever, especially in front of. I knew at the time that you were quite fashion forward or whatever. So like, okay, let's not. I knew you'd be there. So I'm like, okay, let's not embarrass myself in front of Mike.
Well, no, shut up. I'm glad you were there.
/fashionista.
Yeah, I was glad that you were there because this was like Ronnie has very cool friends. Like there's a lot of like cool people there, and there's like they he knows actors because he's an actor,
yes.
And there were like some actors, and like let's just say beautiful people were there, right?
Yes.
And I was looking around, and I was like, who are the people who are like me? Like and I can sense, I can
of course
smell a comedian.
Yes.
In any room without even knowing them not talking. I was like, you're a comic.
Yeah. So
and it was me and Vic. Vic Tran.
Yes.
And the three of us were just like huddled in the corner like a bunch of trolls.
Yes.
And I remember I was eating a lot of cake. There was a free cake, and I was eating a lot of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just
one of the cool people brought it.
Really?
The cake.
Who brought it? Do you remember?
A big cake.
Yeah,
right?
There was a big ass cake.
It's not a cake from the restaurant. It's a
no,
cake.
it was like a congratulations cake.
It was one of the
cool people.
Yeah. So what I'm gathering is, you went to the party. You knew that there'd be a lot of
There were cool people,
beautiful people.
Yes.
And then you were glad that I'm there because I'm not cool nor beautiful.
But neither am I. Yeah, but that's the thing. We're all like, and Vic too. We're all hanging out.
Yeah.
And Vic had a whole bunch of leftovers that he had brought from the after party, and we had a whole bunch of wings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you fit. I feel like you fit in. You had as the kids say, aura.
Yeah.
Do you know about this aura? That's what the kids say.
No, I mean, I know aura as in aura. I don't know what's the.
Well, it's kind of the same thing, but it's essentially just like swag.
Yeah.
Like you felt like like you look like you belonged.
Oh, I see. Well, I think because like number one, I think I felt comfortable because I knew Ronnie as a friend, and also Hannah. Hannah's very
Hannah's
she puts you at ease.
Yeah, she is.
And I was there because I was there with another comic from Boston.
Oh,
what's his name? Peter Liu.
Oh yes, Peter. Yes, I know Peter.
We all were there.
Yeah, you're right.
So because I'm with another comic, like you know how to say when you're in a social situation and you just hate everyone else. I do, and then there's a comic next to me.
Yes,
and
everything's safe.
Yeah, because
you can both hate together.
We can still talk to each other.
Yeah, yes.
And you're right. The whole thing about you can just look, you can know. That's the
Peter too. Is somebody you just look at him and you're just like, look at those jeans. You're like, yeah,
because the comedian at a social. A stand-up comedian at a social gathering is the one who doesn't fit.
Yes,
he's the one because we're all like, oh, these fuckers, I have to roast them. Like,
you're writing. You're thinking of. You're like writing stuff down in your notebook in your mind. Fucking hey, this is gonna be such a good bit later. It's gonna be the shit.
Yeah. So if you find another comedian there, it's like
yeah. Now you're what's up.
The vibes attract the tribe.
The vibes on vibes.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Did you stay super? I remember I left after. I stayed for a while and there was a really nice party and Ronnie was super nice and Hannah was super nice and it was cool to finally meeting you, talking to you guys, and so that was cool.
And did you stay? By the way, you also opened for him at his Netflix taping, right?
Yes.
And you were the warm up act.
I was the warm up act.
Warm up act meaning you got the audience ready for a taping, right?
Yes.
What was it like? I think because it's not, I mean, for the listeners, it's not an easy thing to open for a comedian, but it's an even harder thing to get the audience ready for a taping, right?
Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
I sometimes, on a weekend, and I'm just home by myself having a drink, and I think about the coolest shit that's ever happened to me.
Right.
That was one of the coolest things that ever happened to me. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I've talked about it before, but it was the one time I felt like a badass. I felt like
you felt like a comedian.
I felt like a pro. I was a pro.
Okay.
I was in there. He had 2 tapings, and the first taping, it was, I mean, Ronnie, it was really good, but he wanted it to be even better.
Of course.
So then he was like, the second taping, Mike, you gotta, do this whole thing. And I got the subtext that I was like, he wasn't saying it was my fault or something, but I think I got the subtext that he's like, we really got to get this dude,
Okay.
I remember he was sitting and having like a meal between tapings, and he in the taping, he's wearing a tuxedo.
Okay.
So he's like wearing a tuxedo, surrounded by
white tuxedo,
surrounded by beautiful people eating fucking dim sum, and he calls me over, and it was so Wong Kar-wai Chinese mafia. And Ronnie, he like cleans up, and he's like, he's like, Mike, just make sure to do this and that, blah blah blah. And
okay.
I got it. I was like, you don't have to say anything more, boss. When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, sure, you think about the great product or cool branding or great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business making selling and buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet, and the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going... So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling and strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Alo uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Asian, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Asian to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Asian. Taking care of ourselves as we get older is essential. Exercising, prioritizing sleep, and eating well are all commonly talked about. But not many people talk about taking care of their hair health. If this is something you haven't thought much about, let me tell you about Nutrafol. Hair thinning is not inevitable. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men and women that are tailored to different life stages, such as postpartum or menopause, and lifestyle factors, such as a plant-based lifestyle, so you can get just what you need. Physician formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. Get results you can run your fingers through. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code ASIAN. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code ASIAN. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code ASIAN.
Yeah, what's the difference between the first taping and the second taping? So the first taping, was it you just did stand up, or did
the first taping I had I only had like 5 minutes or something, right? Which is tricky. Okay. So like we did that, and then it was a musician. And the second time they did it, they had the musician go first and then me. Okay. And the second time I went up, I was like, I'm going to pull all the stops out of this thing. I never do crowd work. I never do any of that stuff. Okay. But this time I was like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. They had the producer and director had said, you got 5 minutes. And in my mind, I was like, I'm not leaving until this crowd is hot.
Yeah.
And if it takes me 10 minutes, it takes me 10. If
That's
it takes me,
cool.
So I went there and I did this crazy stunt that I never usually do. But like I made it. I brought a drink up with me. Okay. I never drink during stand up, but I had a drink and I was telling my jokes and they were like a looser crowd already. Okay. It was later in the night. And then I was like, let's all have a shot before the things, and we can get, it's a party. And I made everybody take a drink, and we were all clapping and doing all that stuff. And it worked. I mean, of course, Ronnie's Ronnie, so of course he crushed it. So, but for me, I was just like, I will sacrifice myself in whatever way I need to in order to get this room hot.
Right.
And I'm an experienced host, so I know what it was like. And it was to this day, I knew that I was like, I can handle anything because I did that. Yeah. I knew exactly what I needed to do.
The kids will call it, you knew the assignment. right?
The kids. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I knew the assignment.
Yeah, so and it's not easy, man, because sometimes like when you do a taping, you need to get the audience in a specific
yes
for a taping.
Yes.
And a taping is different from a stand-up comedy show.
Yeah. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. You need. Yeah. It's. They're not here for you. They're not here for any of the other shit.
Yes.
They need to just be like kind of turned out a little bit, and just like ready to have fun, but like paying attention.
Have you ever watched like those live tapings of like the Stephen late night with Stephen Colbert?
Yes.
The warm-up act.
Yeah, that guy's the man.
Yeah, that guy's, and I'm always enthralled by that guy. The audience doesn't know, but I'm like, that guy is doing a very important job.
He is, and he's a pro. I've been to a few tapings before, and it's always the same guy, right? So
Eddie Mercurio, what's his name? Yeah. Shout out to Eddie Mercurio. I've watched him 3 times. He doesn't know me, but
he's the man. He's got his little toolbox. He does. He like cocks to people and does all that stuff. Yeah. And the host job is always just be like, this is a safe space. It's gonna be fun. We're just relax. It's okay.
Yeah.
And he does that every single day.
Yeah.
Or whatever, every single taping. And
and the crowds are diverse.
Yeah, it's different every single time.
And they're not necessarily comedy audiences.
No, not at all.
Them so comfortable.
Right, and it's like a huge age range. There'll be young folks, there'll be tourists, there'll be like locals, there'll be like all sorts of people.
Yeah.
I remember I had a conversation with, I went to go actually when Fumi taped Colbert. I went with a couple of comics and we were sitting there like waiting to watch him.
That's so cool.
And that guy was there warming it up, even though there was no show, but he had to warm up the stand-ups. So he was there to warm up the stand-ups.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Oh. And I was like, I wonder if this is like...
Oh, you mean so there was no taping
of the show
of Colbert, but they brought all the comics to perform.
Yes.
And then they will splice the image.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
And they still warm him up with that guy.
Wow.
So I was sitting there and I was like, I wonder if this is like a hard or a good job. And I was like thinking about it, and like over time I was watching him do his thing and I was like, this is a hard job and really important. Probably I hope he gets paid good. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's pretty, every single day he's got to go in and do this thing exactly at whatever 6:05 p.m. when they start the taping. It's a tough gig.
I was in Australia and I have done a few episodes of this show. It's a panel show.
Oh yeah.
Have you been paying attention? So it's a show, a comedy show in the guise of a panel show or game show, where they get comedians and they'll ask questions, and then the comedians, the job is to answer and get points, but also be funny with it and banter with the host. And before the taping, they have a guy who is a comic who will warm up the crowd. And the crowd is 30 people.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
0.
Damn.
Okay?
Shit.
And then in between takes, or if there's a long break, he's the guy. Yeah. He's the guy to keep them warmed up.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to him, and I was trying to, some of them be like, oh, I'm not good enough to be on the show. But I'm just a warm-up act. But I told him, look, number one, this is a very important job. It takes a lot of skill.
Lots.
And I said, look, most of us, we get booked 1 or 2 episodes a season.
Yeah.
You are here every episode.
Every episode.
You're the one with a regular paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just hoping to get a phone call.
That's the thing. That's why I look back and you know, I hope I get more opportunities like that as far as cool things I can do. But I felt like I felt like a comedy Navy SEAL. Like you hear my voice on the special. You hear me bring him up, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But you never, you know, and I get a credit, but you never see my face or anything like that. But I did the thing that nobody knows about, but you know, I helped set up this thing for success.
Yeah, it's good.
I was a professional. It was really cool.
Felt like a Navy SEAL.
I felt like a Navy SEAL. I was like, put me back in. Let me do. And at the end, they were like, oh, we need to do some pickups. And so, but you know, Ronnie might need a break. So do you think you can go out there and like do 20 minutes? I was like, I will do whatever the fuck you want me to do.
That's so good, man.
You know what I'm saying? I was ready.
Such a good attitude.
I was ready to do it. This is what stand-up's about. Like put me in like the worst situation in the harshest climate, you know, like tell me how much to do and I will figure it out. And I had the, you know, and it was the perfect time when I had enough experience and material and skills and to read a room and to understand all those things. I think, you know, you've been doing shows. I think a lot of...
Also, I think I caught a Instagram post about you, and you were also dressed up. You cleaned up, right?
I cleaned up. I mean, you know, Ronnie's like, he controls all the creative. So he's like, he like texted me. He's like, make sure you have this and this. The wardrober will ask you for this. And so, yeah, you go there and it's like, you know, you know, the whole thing was like this kind of like Hong Kong jazz club.
Wong Kar Wai.
Yeah, Wong Kar. It was very Wong Kar Wai. It was very cool.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, I think a lot of comics, they focus a lot on the material, which is important. But the other thing is what I would call stage management. So just like reading a crowd, knowing when to pivot off of something, when to do this, when to be loud, when to be quiet.
Yeah.
You know, when to give them a break. You know, like all those things are like at least 50% of stand up.
Of course.
That you know, because you go up there and you just like, you know, do your jokes like. It's gonna be fine, and you know, some people can just do that, but you're missing a huge part of the skill set if you can you do the other crap, you know.
So it's very important part of training, I would say.
Exactly.
To be able to warm up the crowd. Yeah
Exactly. So I mean, how's you're here, you're doing spots. A bunch of spots. How long are you here for?
So I got in last Thursday, and then I'll be here until Sunday. So I leave on this Sunday. So 2 weeks.
Oh shit!
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah,
short.
Not really. I mean, 2 weeks.
Well, I guess it's.
But I'm working every day.
Yeah,
I'm doing spots every day, and today and tomorrow are 2 days I don't have spots. But today, like I've done podcasts, so it feels like, you know, it's a working day.
No, it is. You're working.
Yeah. So tomorrow's my only chill day, but it's great because like when you come to New York, you want to be working. You don't want to.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we got here.
Yeah, and also it's like fucking far away from Malaysia. You know, you got to make the airfare worth it. You know what I mean?
Do you got someone helping you set that all up?
No, I mean, I have a guy who helps me with my stuff outside of Malaysia, and he was the one. Shout out to Andy Curtin. He was the one who helped me get my audition spot at the Cellar. So that was really helpful, and to help me get my visa to come here and perform.
Oh, yeah. You need a visa and everything too.
I'm on the O1.
Yeah.
So
really?
You need a visa to earn money, right? So so I mean, some comics do it on the tourist visa. But I'm not going to say who. And then
so you can get that drink ticket, you know. Let me see your O1 visa so you can get 2 vodka sodas.
Yeah, hey, don't hide that from the IRS, man.
They'll find it. That's true. That's true.
So doing spot and then like Gotham and I've done it before, so they always take care of me. And New York, I passed Cellar
at the Cellar. Nice.
Yeah, so it's nice to do spots there. It's very prestigious, and also New York Comedy Club. It's been great, and all the other shows like in Brooklyn, Tiny Cupboard, your show,
Union Hall. Yeah, you're coming up and do that. Yep.
So it's always a fun time, and I like the idea of, as a comic, I like the idea of like at night to do like 4 spots.
Yeah, of course.
5 spots.
Yeah.
I want to be exhausted.
Yes.
By the end of the night.
Yeah.
You know?
When's your latest set? Like you're doing like the 1 o'clock spot that's at the Cellar, 1 a.m.
The latest set I've done, I believe so. I think the latest like past midnight. There's once I did past midnight, and the crowd was still
good.
Yeah, good. But some of them are yawning.
Yeah, they're tired.
It's because of the time, not because of my material.
Right, yeah,
not because of my materials. I want to say it again. No, but yeah, so that was the latest time, and you can't get that kind of shows back in, say, Malaysia or Singapore. I mean, as great our scenes are, there's no 4 shows a night, 5 shows a night.
Right.
Yeah, and in New York you can get that a lot.
You can get.
And all the spots are nearby.
You can take the train, you can do whatever.
So and also the thing about New York, I don't know if you know this because you're native here, but in New York, I find everyone I meet in comedy, they're putting their best foot forward.
Oh yeah.
They're all trying their best.
Every single. I sometimes joke that I am the least serious comic in New York City. Just because I am not out every single day doing 3 shows and killing myself and putting myself into debt. Yeah, every single person wants to like try their best.
Yeah.
And is trying to make it. Is trying to become a professional fucking comic.
Everyone's a killer.
Yeah.
At every level. So like at the open mic level.
Yeah, people are pretty good.
At the or at the cellar level, everyone's trying their best to go up to the next level.
Yeah.
So I like being surrounded by that kind of energy.
I hope that you're the other thing I've thought about this the sort of relationship between the city itself and stand-up comedy. For me, one of the things I love, I just love like people watching,
of course,
and just being the weirdo in the corner and going fuck these people.
You like watch people.
I like to watch people.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you think I said?
No, like people watching as in people watching your show.
Oh yeah, no, that. But I also like my favorite thing after doing comedy is to sit somewhere and like observe people.
Yes,
I think you get a lot of material that way, and I just like doing it. And New York City is the best place to do that kind of thing. And there's something cool about like. Yeah, you do a show someplace and then you're on the subway and you're like making your way through the city to get to the next spot.
Yes.
And then by the time you're done with that, it's like late and maybe you're getting some food with some comics or having a drink or something like that. I think that's like, there's nowhere else, in America that I can think of that you do that, See. So I think that's like.
LA, can you do that in LA?
No. First of all, it's so spread out.
Yes.
Right. You can talk to Fumi about it and anyone who goes to LA. It's like you do a show. And then you like, you're lucky if you can drive less than 45 minutes to the next show. Or, there's some places where like, maybe you can do like 2.
Yes,
but there's
max is 2.
Yeah, but there's way less spots overall in the whole week. There's not like a ton of spots on a Monday.
Right.
Or like here, there's spots. There's like 20 spots here in New York.
Yes.
On a Monday.
Yes.
They'll be pretty weird, but like they'll be there.
Yes.
And I think too, there is no. That's why I was asking about the late thing, because New York is so like people stay up late here. The in LA like. Last calls at whatever 11 or whatever, and that's on a weekend. So I don't think there's like that as much.
Yeah,
and then all the indie shows, forget it. Like there's like 10, 100 times more indie shows here.
The cellar shows, I think they go past like 2 a.m.
Yeah, really late.
Yeah, really late. I think there's like 6 shows on the Friday and Saturdays.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, there's still the crowd is not dying, And it's amazing.
Exactly. That's the thing. Again, you like you get all these people and they come here and sometimes I'll watch like there's a jazz club called Smalls and they live stream their shit and that shit goes on until like 3 a.m.
Wow.
And people, and this is just like I think stand-up got that from jazz, because like the club and the jazz club, you're listening to jazz sometimes until the sun comes up.
Wow.
Wow. And I think those people hung out with comics, like jazz musicians hung out with comics. They're in the same world really.
Right.
And they influenced each other. And then like a comedy club is going to emulate what a jazz club does. And then you're up late,
So recently, you're talking about jazz, right? So recently, I had a poker game at my house back in Malaysia, and I just thought, what, poker and jazz goes really well.
Yeah.
So I put on Miles Davis.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, then now, coincidentally, my friends who came were musicians. There were 3 of them: a guitarist, a cellist, and a saxophonist.
Do they play jazz? Or I guess
no, they don't play jazz.
Okay,
but no, they know the genre.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure the saxophonist plays jazz. I'm not sure. The cello doesn't. I'm sure. Yeah. Right. So and one of them said, "Do you know why comedians no, he was saying something like, oh, you know, a layperson would listen to jazz and go, oh, what the fuck is this? Right? So, a non-musician, he said a non-musician would listen to jazz and go, what the fuck this is? And then I said, well, I'm not a musician, but I like jazz. And he goes, well, you know why comedians like jazz? It's because comedians can also appreciate the rhythm.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, that's the best.
And oh, you're right. You know, like there's rhythm in what we do.
Absolutely, there is rhythm. Yeah, the once you get your own and you get your own rhythm, and then once you get your own rhythm, it's like way easier. Not easier, but like you see how a joke can be done.
Yeah, and jazz is also collaborative and also improvisational.
Yeah.
So when you watch improv comedy, that's fucking jazz right there.
Dude, we're doing jazz right now, dude. On this podcast, we're doing jazz.
Yes, and we're no longer making content.
Whoa.
It's jazz, bro. It's music, bro. Yeah.
Yes.
In Queens.
We are in Queens.
Our music is way better than whatever the
We're in Pirate Studios here. Yeah, we are, dude. We're doing art, and maybe we're making more dick jokes, but only a little bit more. I think a lot of other places, a lot of other art forms are going to be making a lot of dick jokes. That was the other thing. That's Ronnie has this funny joke where he talks about why do people move to America? Why would you move to America? And he says, because only in America can you make dick jokes for $5. and I was thinking about that, and you know, is you know, I'm sure the scene is changing in Malaysia, but are there things when you get here, you're like, finally, I can talk about this here versus like in Malaysia?
Okay, so far, definitely in America, there's more freedom of speech than in Malaysia.
Sure.
Definitely, 100%. But for me, stylistically, as an individualistically as a comedian, I don't find that when I'm in America, I get to talk about a lot more stuff that I can't talk about in Malaysia, because I'm not the kind of comedian who is controversial or edgy.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
My palette is the same here and in America.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but definitely, an artist has more freedom in America than in Malaysia. Whatever artist.
Do you find? How about the other way? Do you find that there are things in America that when you joke about it here, maybe it's not taboo here, but like something here you could do? It's something in Malaysia you could do that people will really like in Malaysia, and here people are gonna be like, eh.
Oh, that's easy. I think when it comes to race stuff, it's different in Malaysia, because in Malaysia, in Malaysia we have three main races, right? The Malays, who are Muslims, and then Indians and the Chinese. So these are the three main races, right? So in Malaysia, now I'm Chinese, but I can go on stage and I can make fun of the Malays or the Indians. I can do their accents.
Oh shit!
And vice versa. They can make fun of Chinese and Indians, and the Indians can make fun of Malays and Chinese and do their accent individually or whatever, and it'd be fine. 99% of that it'd be fine, because we don't have that baggage. We don't have that. Oh, you can't do this accent because it's punching down. We don't have that.
You don't have all the shit.
We're
the baggage you have
because
to carry.
we all grew up together, right? But in America, and this is like a little pet peeve where I've seen so many American comics and so many white comics. UK, Australia, America, they'll say like, oh, you know, the other day they'll set up a really funny premise, and then something like, oh, then my Mexican helper said, oh, then they go, well, I'm not going to do the accent.
Oh,
I'm like, bro,
I know.
But I think it's funnier in the accent. You know what I mean? So I myself don't have that hang up about accents.
Yes, accents are funny too.
Just do it, man. Why? When you say it diminishes the
yes.
And I know. You want to do it?
I know.
Fucking asshole, you know. And it's the same in Australia. Like they'll set up a really nice whatever, and then
really? It's in Australia too.
Same. They go,
really?
Well, I won't do the accent. I'm like, dude, just it's
like, the funnest to do accents, man.
Yeah. So for us in Malaysia, that's the big difference. I think one of the big difference. Like we don't have that racial. We don't have the white guilt.
Oh yes, you don't got white people, so you don't got the white.
Yeah, we don't have the white, so we don't have that kind of racial dynamics that comics here have.
You know what's fun too is that I like that you call it you have three main races. It's like you guys are like the last Airbender. You know, it's like Fire Nation, Water Nation, and Air Nation or whatever.
Yeah.
Also, it's interesting because you listed these three, and in America, it's all Asian. You know what I'm saying? You would be all considered Asian.
Yes.
South Asians.
Yes.
Yeah, East Asians, and then, Southeast Asians.
But we all lumped together, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Here, I mean, then you got some people who are going to like understand that there's a difference.
Right.
But like in general, there's an aggregation of a lot of that. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I remember someone.
But just to finish it off, like I wouldn't be able to quote unquote do like a South Asian accent, like I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not even I have a joke that I don't do anymore because I'm afraid of people doing it, but I think it's very funny. But I do another Asian's accent, another East Asian's accent. So I'm Vietnamese, and I do one that's on purpose way over the top Chinese. Okay. Way over the top.
Okay.
Like so crazy that like it's like I'm clearly not really doing a real Chinese accent.
Could you explain to me why you're not allowed to do?
Well, I think it's like the baggage that you're talking about. People like get, kind of like iffy about it, and they like, I think, I mean, it happened to me, like, growing up here, you got that accent used against you before. So now you don't got a good feeling about it.
I see.
And I think that because, like, what you say, like, there's like the 3 races and you all grew up together and it's okay. Whereas, like, here in America, you have, your accent, and somebody who was sort of like not in your group used it against you, and now you're like, fuck, now I can't use it, and then and it gets more complicated, but that's kind of the hang up I think people get.
Right.
If but I would also I think that's the issue.
But I think when it comes to comedy, right, surely the intent matters. Like for example, you're let's say in your life a really funny incident happened which involved, let's say, someone on the subway saying something mean to you.
Yeah.
Right? But she's saying in her accent.
Right.
Let's say, right? And when you tell a story, there's nothing wrong with reporting what just happened, right? Because the object is not to demean the race, is to tell you exactly what happened.
Well, this is what happened.
This is really what happened, right?
Yeah.
And in a way, if you don't do the accent, you're being dishonest.
You're being racist.
But no, I'm honest.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that's the man, where we are. It's 2024, and like where we are in this like kind of whatever election cycle, all this stuff.
Right.
We're like everybody is so in their house with their like they barricaded all the doors, and they're hiding behind the couch with their knives.
Yes.
And they're like, everybody's like, we don't know if you're. What it comes down to is like, I don't know if you're a friend or foe. At the beginning of this, when a white person comes up to me and is like, I'm a big fan of your work.
Right.
And I'm a little on edge because, do you think I'm actually Jimmy O Yang, or do you know what I'm saying? Which it just happened to me, not even in a comedy way, but like in just in other ways. Like people have confused me for all sorts of people.
Yes.
I just have like a successful Asian guy face, so like people think I'm these other dudes. So you're like never sure, is this person going to be down or not? Once you have that, and it can happen. Sometimes it happens in a comedy club. Then it's like, this is awesome. Then it's the best. Like
Once
I think
pass the vibe check.
Yes, exactly.
I'm learning the lingo.
Once you kind of like, for example, if you get like a good show, like I think my stand-up comedy shows like this, you get all the people together, and now it doesn't have to be all Asian. It could be like it can be mixed.
Yeah. But
now we can really air it out a little bit. Like let's talk shit about the Koreans. We're gonna talk shit about the Koreans, and the Korean comics gonna come up after me, talk shit about Vietnamese people, and then we're all gonna talk shit about Chinese people because of that. Then you're sort of like, you're having fun because there's the jazz of it happening, right? You're going back and forth. And like you said, like the intent is it should be funny. I'm not just going to cut you down for no reason. It's got to be like, there's a release of this thing and now you can do me, you know, and I think then it could be cool, but it's, you know, it's like we said, like it takes work for that kind of thing to happen. And then once you know, with stand up, I can only talk about that context, but once that's done, that's done. Once you open those doors and you walk outside, you're back into like everybody's in their house with their knives. You don't know what's going on.
And it is true because like, you know, have you ever experienced this or seen this where a comedian does a set? Okay, at a comedy club, and it's killing, and everyone is happy. 100% of the audience at the comedy club is happy. And then the comedian posts a clip of that on the internet.
Oh yeah. That's bro.
Yeah, come on. I mean, exactly. So like, it's happened so many times where like the people who they just don't get it. Like, you know, like
it's not. Yeah, you know, it's like the quintessential. You had to be there. You know.
Yeah, you had to be there.
Yeah, and that's why stand up is a live art form. Like what we've done now, and we put it on the internet. That's like a different thing. Yeah, that's like it looks like stand up, right? But it's not. It's a difference between going and seeing jazz and listening to, I don't know, a
studio
CD
recording.
Studio recording. It's not the same thing. Like, yeah, you're kind of there, but you're not really there. You know, so like, and then you get all this. The sort of irony is that clip can go viral, and that means a lot of people can see it who weren't there. And then they're going to bring all of their shit that they had that day, and they're going to bring it into the comments and talk about it and like, well, you know, like get upset.
That's a true mark of virality, because like a clip that goes that is successful, will first spread amongst the comedian's friends and fans who know the comedian and know comedy. Then it'll spread to fans of comedy, but not fans of his. But still fans of comedy. And then it spreads to their friends and their cousins.
Their third cousin who they haven't talked to in 6 years.
In another country or whatever. And then like so once that comes in, then you know it's truly viral. It's spread. It's jumped orbits.
I have some stuff. I'm not on TikTok all that much, but I had a couple of things that went viral, and one of them I talk about the Vietnam War. And to this day, I put that shit up like 3 years ago. And to this day, I'm getting, people have argued about it, left TikTok, had kids. Those kids have grown up, and now those kids are arguing about that joke.
Wow.
It's been going on for so long, and I never at least 3 years, because I put it up in the pandemic and people are still arguing about it, and so it's still going around. Like the algorithm is like, people were really fired up about this joke, and so the algorithm like trots it out to all these different people, and I never get involved. I'm just like, I lit the bag of shit on fire, and now I'm just watching everybody deal with it. You know, I'm just like letting them, everybody's reacting to that now, and I don't even take it personal. I'm just like, they're reacting to the clip. They're not even really talking about me.
Because in the clip you do the South Asian accent.
I'm talking. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I feel. Oh God. Maybe I'll do it at the show, and you can tell me. You can tell me if it's, so far in general, people have been cool with it, and like.
So I'll record it.
Yeah, you record it.
And then I'll post it.
You post it, and you'll be like, yo, what the fuck's up with this American comic?
It'd be really funny if like I'm at the show like, wow, it's just fucking offensive, bro. That is so fun. Can you not put up the podcast episode with me on it? I don't want to be associated with you. Fuck you.
Fuck that. I don't know this guy. I knew he was problematic from the beginning. Yeah. How's your family? How's the kids?
It's been tough, I guess, because
they're not here.
No, they're not. No, they're back in Perth.
Okay.
So my wife and kid are in Perth, Australia, and I think it's tough because now that we have.
Wait, hold on a second. Do you live there?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh shit!
But when I say live there, what I mean is I'm there when I'm not touring.
Okay.
So that's the thing that I was gonna ask you, because like I've reached a point where I need to perform like outside of Australia or outside of Malaysia.
Right.
And that means whenever I'm working, I'm not with my wife or daughter.
Yep.
Right. And so, but you have two, so it's gonna be it's doubly harder.
Yep.
So how do you manage that? Do you have, what kind of agreement do you have with your partner that makes you guilt free, go out and do shows, and you know what I mean? Because I have guilt being here.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you, how are you even here for 2 weeks without, because I got the dagger eyes and I'm just out gone for a couple hours.
Yeah, and that's tough because as a comic, if your career is to be more successful, you must leave the house.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean,
or leave the city or leave the country.
Right. Yeah. I think for me, I mean, real talk, I just don't do as much stand-up right now. So I'm fortunate enough where people are asking me to do their shows. So like if I want to, if I can find some time, I can like kind of turn it up, you know, and like do it a little bit more.
Yep.
Or usually what I try to do is once everybody's straight up asleep, you know, my kids are in bed. I haven't done this yet because since I have my daughter, but the way it worked when I had one was once he's asleep. And then I was like, okay, now I can do, there's like a couple of shows that are like 10:30s and I'll just do that. And I'll go to and I'll do that and I'll do like one or two of those. And I'll just try to just keep my skills sharp and just be thoughtful of, you know, writing and that kind of thing. And that I think is okay. Because I know that every time I leave, my wife essentially takes an L. You know, she takes a loss because like I'm away. She, you know, she has to be doing, you know, she has to be doing that shit. So then I'm also kind of like focusing on other things. I'm doing whatever Instagram shit, or I'm doing this shit, or you know, if there's something where I can really get paid, that's different, you know. But
of course, that takes priority.
Exactly. So that's I think what it is. Like me personally, like. There's a lot of times where do I want to go and do a show or do I want to like hang out with my kids? I'm like, I want to be home. I want to like, my son is really funny and he's doing all sorts of funny shit now. Right. And I want to see that, you know, I don't want to necessarily be in the basement. So that's sort of like, I kind of try to feel it out. Like if it feels like this is good and I'm growing, you know, then I'm going to try to do that.
So you make it sustainable.
Yeah. And I think for me, I now know that like this is one of those things like it's going to take, I'm going to be so fucking old if I keep going. I'm going to be so old by the time I'm famous. I'm going to be so fucking old. I'm going to be the old dude. But that's the thing is to stay in the game. You got to stay in the game. Don't quit. Find a way for it to work for you, however way that is. And I think, you know, there's more ways now than ever. Yeah. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be, not, you know, I think if you're out all the time, that's awesome. If you can do it, that's great. But I think there's other ways too.
Like building a fan base online.
Yeah, building a fan base,
and then you tour. You don't have to tour the whole year.
You don't have to tour the whole year. You put one together. Exactly. You do a little thing, and then you know, like have you met Young Me Mayer?
No,
you know her? She's amazing. She's like. She doesn't.
Mayer is Mayer.
Yes.
Someone has mentioned her to me. Yeah.
She's awesome. And she does it her way. She does her like live show is like fucking bonkers. It's like super. There's stand up bits she does, but then she does like a bunch of audience games and stuff like that. And like she's written a book. Wow. You know, she has a big following on TikTok and on Instagram, and like. She's truly like no one I know is like her as a comic.
That's so cool.
And she can do her own thing. And now she's released a book, or she's about to. So now she can she's put together a little tour.
Nice.
You know, and she has a son who's like 8 or 9 or something like that, maybe older. But you know, she's doing it her way, and I think that's cool. Like you do it your way, and then your fans, dude, her fans are fucking rabid about her. They're like I mean, my cousins send me her clips. They don't even listen to my clips. My cousins send me Young Me's clips and they go, oh my God, do you know this person? This person's so fucking funny.
Oh, sorry. That was also me. I send you Young Me's clips.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you suck, Mike. So, you know, I think that's like, I try to learn from that. Like, you know, what is the pathway that's going to work for you that allows you to, you know, sustain this and be creative and make money too. And I think that's what I try to learn. Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of pathways. You're right.
Yeah.
For me, I'm lucky in the sense that I have my in-laws, my wife's parents to kind of help out. Yep. If they weren't helping out, I don't think I can tour as much. Yeah. You know, and do shows outside. But I think that's the for me, it's a sad reality that if I were to be providing for my family, there are times when I have to be away. I can't escape that.
Yeah.
You know, I have to tour. You know,
daddy gotta work.
Yeah, daddy's gotta work. Yeah.
You
so
know?
I'm trying to make myself like, for example, like after New York, I'm gonna go back home and we're gonna go for like a holiday to Tokyo because there's a school.
Oh, hell yeah!
And I think I'm looking forward to that because at least I've carved out that time.
Yes.
There'll be no gigs, nothing. It's just for her. Yeah.
You So what's like your next? So you're here. You're gonna be grinding out. You're doing a bunch of shows, and then what sort of like? Is there like a tangible step that's after this where you're like, okay, now I've done that, and now I'm like, you know, like what's the next kind of milestone?
A milestone in terms of just general comedy, or
I guess like in America. Like how do you get to that next thing?
So I've done one of my solo shows here in New York and San Fran, and so I have a new hour. So I want to do it again in New York, San Fran, and expand it to like Los Angeles and other cities. You know, there's no clear milestone, but I guess an important step would be, I don't know, get representation. You know, get repped, and that's a whole big different ball game.
Wow,
who gets who you want to be repped with.
Yes. And
I'm trying to learn that because it's such a big, it's a very important step, but it's so complicated.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's not easy to figure out. I mean, the management must fit the artist.
Yeah.
It must gel.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm still new, so I'm trying to speak to my friends who are more experienced in this, and then listen to their advice and see how we go. Yeah. So I think that's the next milestone. If I can do like a tour of just not the whole of America, but a few strategic cities, I think that's the next important step.
Damn, dude.
Why? What?
No, that's great.
Yeah,
I think that's great. Good luck.
But again, by doing that, I fear that I'll be spending more time away from my family. Yeah. Yeah, but maybe I'll bring them over.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, you can bring them over here and
that's my rider.
Do that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You got to bring fucking the kids and the family.
And you count the cost. Like, I've made $10 off a 10 city tour. Sold out 10 city tour.
Yeah.
Positive $10.
Positive? You're being optimistic.
Yeah, with 2
up 10. Fuck that. $10. You know, hell no, dude. All right.
Made a loss.
This is okay. So, you good on time? We only got like 10 minutes, I think.
Oh, that's good. 10 minutes. Yeah.
How's your jiu-jitsu going? Yes, this is the one part. This is the part of the podcast where I lose everybody. Yeah, because now I get to talk about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So I did. I was gonna say I did 2 spots today. No, I did 2 classes today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow.
No gi in the afternoon. Then and then right before I came here, I did gi class. And Marcelo. So I think my and before this in Perth, I was there for 3 weeks and I did like 15 gi classes. So my gi game is quite good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but my no gi game is quite lacking.
Oh, okay.
But what about you? Are you training regularly?
No, I haven't trained since my daughter was born.
Since you got your purple belt, right?
No, I've been training. I got my purple belt. Yeah. Man, it's kind of funny because like, so I got my purple belt. Maybe it's been, I don't remember exactly when. I don't know. It's been a couple of years. Like it was around the time that my son was born, maybe. So it's been like 2 and something years or something like that.
I think you got you got it after me, right?
I think so.
I got mine in November 2022. So it means
so it must be around that.
Last year. You got it last year.
So I can look and see how many classes I take because Marcelo and Marcelo's they keep a little tracker, and it's like so sad. It's like I've taken like 100 classes. Because I can only go over a year. So I can go like once or... it's been more than that. I think I got my purple belt before you. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
There's only one way to settle this.
Yes.
On the mat. No, but I think I for a while, I only went once a week. But I was trying to be really smart about training and like thinking about how to... And I feel I've gotten a lot out of... this new way of thinking about it. I don't want to get too involved in because people will stop listening to this podcast, but it's called ecological. Are you familiar?
I've heard about it. It's whatever.
It's really, I don't know. I really like it. And I think
what is it?
Okay. It's this idea that you're supposed to train not by using like, I'm going to drill a technique 100 times, but instead like you're going to set the person up with like specific goals and cues that like cue them to do things.
Right.
And it just overall just simplifies it. So instead of like, oh, I'm gonna grab your left arm and then I'm gonna put my knee here and then I'm gonna do this. Instead it's just like these kind of big rules where you're like, I need to get past. Like one of them, for example, is just like, if you're trying to pass guard, don't let their feet touch you.
Right.
Like don't let their feet touch you. And like that alone has helped me a lot. I'm doing a lot more standing up, not stand up, but standing up.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot more like takedowns and stuff like that. I try to focus on that.
Yeah. So I have a friend he's a friend, but he's a brown belt, and he coaches some of the classes.
Hell yeah.
The no-gi classes, and he has adopted that approach.
Yeah.
And I find that his classes are really good because, and
is this in Perth or is this here?
Back in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, okay, Kuala Lumpur.
And I know that his classes and teachings are good because I hate the classes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you learn so much.
Yeah.
And his classes are like fucking. Okay, we're gonna do technique. He shows the technique, and it's like, okay, big concepts. If you wanna tripod pass, you have to make sure this quadrant is. Just make sure his quadrant. However you do it.
Yeah, just make sure this is happening. Right.
And then once it's done, okay, specific sparring and for that. And like,
it's really hard.
I fucking hate specific sparring, right?
Yeah.
And then so the whole class is specific.
It's specific, yep.
And then if you have time.
And then it's rolling at the end.
Yeah, so but
it's so tiring.
Yeah,
the class is way harder.
Yeah, so the class is way harder, but that's how I know the approach really works.
I think it's helped me a lot. It's made me, I'm more confident on my feet when doing stuff. I'm like, and again, because I can only go like once, maybe twice a week, like then I just feel like I have to just really think through. I can't just like go on autopilot and just like do the drill and then that's it. Because like I'm never gonna keep up with like these fucking white belts who can go like 8 times a week or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
So
this teenage boys who are like fucking jacked.
Dude, how old are you?
I'm 39.
Okay, so it's all about to end for you because you're about to be 40.
Yes.
And dude, after the pandemic, you just realize how fucking muscular men are. They're just so fucking buff. Like when I'm fighting someone, he'll be like, God help me if he's like 25. They're just so jacked. They're like, it's just even the nerdiest IT professional is just so muscular and like it can recover so fast. And like, even if I beat them, I feel like I still lost. It's just, it's so fucking hard.
The fucked up thing is you may beat the white belt, right?
Yeah.
But you got to take a rest. You got to rest for 1 round.
Yeah.
But that guy is back on the mat.
He's back on the mat.
He doesn't need to rest.
He's like, are you good? He's like, like I didn't even sweat. So it's been tough. Are you only training them ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also because I already I bought the
pass, the 2-week pass. Yeah.
I think like when I reach the age of 45. I'm being honest here. I might consider taking like those TRT or.
Oh really?
Yeah, because you have to maintain whatever the muscle mass, whatever, and you want to train. And so I think that helps. It helps with recovery and training. So I want to be able to train for as long as I could because I don't want to deteriorate.
Yeah.
And when you reach 45, you need extra help. That's my. Personal, I'm not going to give medical advice here, but I think that's the way of the future because with time, people now know how to take it more responsibly with the proper supplements and whatever. I'm seriously considering it,
dude. Now we have gone full Joe Rogan podcast because you said TRT, and that is now give me a conspiracy theory that you're into after this. Tell me about how vaccines don't work. No, I'm just kidding. Well, thank you very much for doing the show.
Thank you so much, man. It's my pleasure.
Where can our fans find you?
You can find me on all the regular socials at Dr. Jason Leong. So at Dr. Jason Leong, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my YouTube channel. Just type in Jason Leong.
Yeah,
you'll find me.
And also your website. Is it Dr. Jason Leong?
No, it's just jasonleong.my.
.my.
Yeah, but it's just just a website to show all the shows that I'm on. Mostly now in Malaysia. But yeah, find me on social media and let's keep in touch.
Okay, so go check them out. And you can find me on Instagram at NicePantsBro. You can always check out the podcast on all the socials at Asian Not Asian Pod. Come check out our Hack City show. The next one, what did I say it was? It's October 11th. And again, that's the second Friday of every month. It's a lot of fun. And yeah,
support this channel generously via Patreon.
Thank you. I was going to say it, but you said it, so it's all good now. Nice. All right, thanks a lot, man. Good luck, and we'll catch you soon.
Yeah,
bye, guys.
See you at the show.